with us Dr. Ipsa Jain. Dr. Ipsa has pursued her PhD in cancer biology from Indian Institute of Science. She then became a freelancer, writer and illustrator. Dr. Ipsa Jain is here at IISER Pune for conducting a workshop on science illustrations. Welcome Dr. Ipsa at Science Media Center. Thanks for conducting this amazing workshop.
Thanks for having me here.
Could you share us with the story of how you became a science illustrator?
So, towards the end of my PhD, I realized that I don't want to be in hardcore research and academic environment, but I still wanted to be associated with science and scientists. So, after some reflection, I thought that I would like to combine visual arts with science, and that's how it all started, and it's come to where it is now.
Okay, that's a unique story. Science illustration and scientific illustration, are they the same or different?
So the lines between the two are blurry, but in my head the classification is that things that are inspired by science and depict science in a schematic or diagrammatic manner are science illustration, but wherein you put more effort in terms of bringing accuracy of form, space, distribution and time, those then become scientific illustration because they incorporate a lot of scientific data in one image.
Okay. How was your experience of conducting a workshop at Science Media Center, IISER Pune?
It's been great so far. The organizing team has been extremely supportive and the participants have been really involved and they have put in their best efforts to learn things in a very short period of time, and it's encouraging that they were interested in a workshop like this, which means that there is growing interest and they're thinking about science illustration, even if not necessarily as a career choice, but as something that they would like to think about.
Okay. According to you, what qualities a scientist should have in order to become a science illustrator?
So, all the good qualities of a scientist, which means that scientific acumen, scientific temper, ability to distill good information from a vast body of information, and also a sense of visual thinking, which allows you to sort of think visually and not in a verbose manner. Okay. And also perhaps a good sense of design, like if you can look at an advertisement or a diagram and think about that, oh, this could have been done differently, it sort of gives you a sense that you have a sense of design where you know what works well visually and what doesn't. So if you have a combination of either of these, then you can be a science illustrator, and then you just need to practice on your skills and build them, and there you go.
So how did you come across the field of scientific illustration and what motivated to enter into this field?
So when I initially started making drawings, my idea was to simply make pretty drawings.
Okay.
And share some tidbits of about the subject in the drawing and share them on social media. And I wouldn't call that science illustration today, that's probably sci art. And it was during that time that I started looking up work of other people. I interviewed a lot of wildlife illustrators in India, and I looked at their process, how they do things. And that's why I realized that science illustration is a proper field where people are thinking about it not only in an artistic manner but also in a scientific manner, where accuracy and details are part of the process and also a part of the end result. So that's when I realized that this is a proper field, and then I tried to develop my own skills towards that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to know. Who is your inspiration in science illustration? Is there any person or a particular book or a role model who has changed your life?
So pointing out one person would be difficult, but initially I was exposed to work of wildlife artists like Abhisheka Krishnagopal and Sangeeta Kadur, and they were the ones who told me about how science is a part of their process. And once I knew about that, then I looked up on the internet, and then I learned about a lot more people, including David Kutzell, Aina Shupe, Drew Berry, Janet Ivasa, Graham Johnson, and not that I've had the chance to interact directly with them, but their work is around, and they have also written about their work, which has then become a guide in some sense for my work as well. Or so I like to think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please continue.
So when, if you're asking about book, not that I have a book in mind for science illustration per se, but uh, at a point in my life, I was looking at a lot of children's picture books, and they just bring such immense joy. And I really thought that if scientific content is presented like that,
Okay.
it'll be much more, acceptable and um, awe-inspiring.
Okay.
So that's where I found inspiration for my initial work. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to know. What advice would you like to give to young generation who want to pursue science illustration?
Okay, my first disclaimer would be that you are most likely not going to get a proper job.
Okay.
So, I hope that a time comes when scientists and scientific institutes create spaces for people like me to have full-time jobs. But I think we are far from there. And so, if you are somebody who is okay with freelancing and or juggling multiple jobs, then think about this as a career. But when it comes to developing your skill set for this career, I would say that you should be little, you should be not little, you should be versed with the scientific language, because you will need to read a lot of literature. You will need to speak to scientists and other subject matter experts to uh, to to learn the science itself that you need to represent, and also to take feedback. And so training in science or an interest in science would be essential. And then training in some or the other form of arts, whether it's drawing or it's digital work or it's animation or something of that sort, which then gives you the skill set to then express those ideas forward. Yeah.
Okay. Could you shed some light on what is the relationship between art and science?
Okay, that's a question that deserves a long answer, but in short answer, so I think artists and scientists are both trying to understand how world works in their own way.
Okay.
And the processes or the methods might be different. I understand that scientists have more objective way of looking at it, even though I think science is also quite subjective. And because it also involves peer feedback and peer review, there is possibility of objectivity, whereas art looks at it from a more subjective point of view. But I do feel that since they are both trying to understand how we work, how the world works, how the universe works, there is possibility of extreme cross-pollination of ideas and collaborations, and it's good to see that in India itself. I'm seeing okay, in India itself, apart from science illustrators, other than that, also artists and scientists are trying to interact with each other and come up with unique ideas. So that's good to know.
So what are your future plans or projects?
I hope to continue as a freelancer and work with scientists and the scientific community, and then bring out science for the wider audience. And I also see myself working with scientists in a way that allows them to express their science better amongst the scientific community. So through my work, I've realized that illustrations can be used not only to disseminate science, but to ask questions, newer questions in science itself. So when you're making a drawing, you're forced to think about your science a little differently, and that leads to hypothesis building, and that's a kind of exercise that I would really like to do. Okay. And the other thing I hope to do is that bring art students and science students together and see if that can become fertile grounds for interesting ideas to come up. Yeah.
Where do you think India stands today in science communication, and how can science illustrators contribute to effective science communication?
So, heartwarmingly, there is a growing interest in science communication in India, and there have been so many people amongst my peers who are now trying to write blogs and so on and share science in their own way. There are people who have transitioned from academia to science communication, much like yourself. And so it's good to know that that's happening, but I still feel that there are not enough structures and possibilities of it becoming a sustainable way of living, for it to be a fertile career.
Yeah.
So I think some things have to change at the level of institutions which accommodate science communicators within the institutes, or engages with them on a regular basis for it to become proper career. Right now, few individuals have that luxury in the elite institutions of the country. When it comes to Science Illustrator or contributing, the contribution can be immense. So there are different kind of people who like engage with written content better, people who engage with verbal content better, people who engage with visual content better. And I think we need to have diverse media and diverse kinds of content, which then facilitates accessibility of information to all these people. And so for people who need images, we need to have science illustration as a part of our science communication efforts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for your time and having an interacting session with us.
Oh, my pleasure.